Well, hello everybody and welcome back to The Power of Words. I am so excited to have here with me today Orietta. Orietta is visiting us all the way from Italy, from Milan. And Orietta is the curator of the Conversations in Cross-Cultural Business at Milan Fashion Week. We have a beautiful and 2-year-long relationship with The Power of Words and as friends and partners. So welcome to LA, right over this beautiful time of the holidays. Happy to have you here, Orietta.
Deborah, happy to be here. This is Orietta, Ori for, let me say, for the friends. Yeah, this is true. I'm really happy to be here, to back here, and these 2 years are of relation build many different words.
It's been such a beautiful journey, and what a way to talk about fashion, mental well-being, cross-cultural conversations. And I know you head the cross-cultural conversation in the business sense in fashion. So let's talk about how mental well-being plays a part there, and what do you see? Let's talk about the positives and the struggles we have, because even with everyone speaking the same language and living in the same country, we still have a problem communicating. What has been your biggest struggle building these international bridges that you've built? Because, you know, fashion is a vehicle. So how have you approached that?
Deborah, thank you for this question, because honestly, it's also interesting to understand why I was being attracted by your movement and why I seen so many similarities into the vehicle, like you said, we have, of course, in fashion. My position is always that one to build project between different countries. Mainly I representing Italian country, but as you know, Italy is located in an area in Europe which is completely connected with the world. And this was, since the beginning, my point was approaching another country, approaching our organizations, that they want to come closer to us. When I say us, I mean people that build product, they have industry, they have, and the mental well-being since the beginning for me was connected to the words. And I want to really back to days when I met you and you said, I built this project, and this project is a movement and is the power of words. I was feeling that words are the vehicles that we use in fashion. We talk about keywords. We talk about words that we put it on a table when we have a negotiation, a business conversation. And most of the time I have another culture in front of me. So I have to choose the best words, which doesn't mean only the grammar or the different types of language, because, you know, we use it, a language which is not our native language. And most of the time I have a translator close to me that translates from English to another types of language. I think words beyond the scene, between the layers, the emotional impact. And I have to catch this emotional impact when I'm in front of a negotiation. So I'm trying to figure out the situation, because words is my starting point.
You know, it's great that you say that, because I'm trying to think of the word right now, but, you know, when you say a word, what it might mean to us in English, but exactly the same word when translated into Chinese or Korean or Thai or whatever might mean something completely different. When we started with The Power of Words as the brand, and we went into the movement, and the movement is about expression. So words are an expression of emotion. And I see that, you know, when people are allowed to express themselves, which is what we try and do with The Power of Seven, give people an opportunity to express themselves, how do you think that you know, the different cultures you work with, how do you think them being able to express themselves among their community, not necessarily with the outside world, but even among their community first, can impact how they relate to the outside world? To the other cultures, I mean.
The other culture. Expression, in my opinion, is one of the words that you are wearing. Speak out.
Yeah.
When I'm in another environment, let me say social environment, it's really important for me to understand, for all the people that are around me, who has the right to speak out. When I say right, means because they know the correct English, or they know how to present their project, or they feel more confident and they don't feel any trouble with the rest of the team. So for me, just looking them in the eyes, I need to understand who is feeling confident, who is taking the word, who is not taking the word, how much they debate between them, because most of the time I'm in the middle of debating and I don't understand absolutely nothing. I just have to catch what's happened, and I need to keep and maintain the respect of everybody. So this is, in my opinion, the power of expression is also connected to freedom. It's connected to, most of the time, to new generation that want to speak out inside of another culture that because we live in another one, we don't know. Yeah. So this is, for me, the most important things. I need to listen, look at them, see the gestuality, listen what they say, and understanding who I am to help. So I'm more a person who want to help, who want to speak up because they are younger, or they just came inside of the team, or they want to drive and reach the goal of a project, and maybe others doesn't want to do it. Or sometimes it's connected to economical power. They have the money or they don't have the money. So most of the time I have to say, okay, leave that as another issue. Let's build the content. Expression, speaking out, in my opinion, are totally connected to the freedom and the mental well-being. So feel really confident in that case.
You know, let's go back to, we're talking about your major role, which is building these cultural bridges in fashion with governments to get to, you know, to be able to bring them to Italy and give them this global presence. But let's talk about within Italy itself. I have so much respect. You know, as you know, I have worked, 26 years in fashion, and maybe 16 of those in Italy with some of the best craftsmen and the best artisans in the world. But our connection, and when we were so honored to have been nominated for by the Italian Fashion Chamber and the UN for the Sustainable Awards, I got to understand the way the Italian Fashion Chamber thinks and the way Italian fashion thinks, and the amount of incredible work that you're doing within Italy for mental well-being as well. When I say mental well-being, it's not really mental well-being, but helping people. I know the CMNI does a lot of work with refugees. I want to bring that up because I think it's such an important program that you do, and how you bring them into the fashion world and give them the opportunity, give them the self-respect that comes from someone who's a stranger in the country, doesn't speak the language you're talking about, culture, does not understand your culture, and you don't understand them. And I'd like to touch upon that a little bit because it's really important to embrace people that are in your country that come there with nothing to offer, except their talent, or you know, a lot of them come with education and they lost.
Thank you, Deborah, for asking me. Yes, I didn't remind this part effectively. Yeah, CNMI, and I'm part of the project because the head of the team, it's curating all the inclusivity and diversity project. It's part of CNMI to protect and respect and also grow the Italian industry. And Italian industry, as you said, is made by artisans and creatives. Most of the time, there are people that they want to create something which is more beautiful than what they created a few months before. This is really the point. And when we talk about programs for refugees, for women, so for young designers, for all of those people that
diverse groups also
are diverse in many different aspects, and they see fashion like this beautiful star that most of the time it's so far away. Yeah. Seems it's unreachable. This is not true. So this is the program to give the opportunity to these people to know more what's going on beyond a catwalk, beyond what they see on the social network, and also build a career. Build a career as their position, just build their conversation, their voice.
And so their confidence.
And their confidence. So I can say one of the refugees program that CNMI organized, and I was coordinating the content of what to deliver to them, which types of content to give to them in collaboration with the team. It was it was really touching for me when we had this 15 person coming from different countries. They study online with us, more or less 20 classes, and then they have an entire weekend in Milan, and then we went to see all the luxury shops. What they consider luxury for us are our brands.
Yes.
And it was so interesting to see everybody inside asking, and everybody, the shop assistants were so open, even if they were not meant to spend any single penny. But the point was, for every shop assistant, the point was explaining the product, the behind the scene, how it was made at, what is around, and explaining the message of Italy. This is, I think, it's one of the most important part. Why we consider in the world of diversity and inclusion, which is also the reason why last year the Power Word was in the calendar of Milan Fashion Week and will stay for longer. It's because inclusion is also to give the skills of a culture to other cultures and match together. Do you know how beautiful craftsmanship we learn from Africa, Arabia, India? Our company work all over the world, China, Korea. Every country has a different specific skills.
Yes, absolutely. Every state within every country has its own heritage, has its own art, and I think we need to preserve that art, because everything that's hand done, that's artisan, that's craftsmanship is dying. Everything is going more tech and machines, and I love to see the effort to keep the craftsmanship alive. Of course, I come from couture. My first exposure to fashion was embroidery, and that is starting to be a dying art now. Along the lines of that, there are so many. I started with the movement, because that was happening the same time that we were nominated, the movement of training the refugees that live in Italy. After that, there have been several others. I know summer last year, was it Italian Vogue that had a paraplegic athlete
in the cover.
On the cover of Vogue. That to me was because of how we work with models and who our role models are. They're real people with real struggles that stand out, that are not normal. That was such a you know, that was such a big moment, I think, in fashion, and looking at fashion speaking out like that is powerful. And that's why I'm so, you know, proud of being connected with the organization, just because of your voice and really using your voice. And like I say, fashion's the most powerful vehicle. I would love to talk about that direction that fashion was taking.
May I say that this is really part of the life of a designer. When a designer designs for a real person, which is a real consumer, the real person has a body, and the body has different shape, different life, different aspects. And can I say that for us was quite organic to arrive to this end, which is...
It's a moment in history.
It's a moment in history, but it's also the fact that normally and historically in Italy, when you want to buy some clothes for your body, the body has to make you beautiful. And no matter, you don't change your body for the clothes. It's the designer has to adapt to your body. And this was one of the parts, of course, one of the aspects to impress and also taking in conversation other of these aspects. I can add on top of it another experience. We have now one very interesting photographer who suffered handicaps, and he decided, he's based in Milan, to take beautiful pictures of handicapped women in their sensuality, showing their naked body. This is a part of art.
Absolutely.
I wanna read this as more a part of art, because body, it's talking about art, is the art of your body, and the different respecting the shape, respecting also the point of sensuality, which are the point of communication of the bodies. Even if you have handicap or not, it's respecting a human being. This is really, in my opinion, something which is hidden, it's integrated. You designed bags, you designed shoes, you designed jewelries and clothes, and I'm sure you notice that when you talk with artisans, they say, okay, show me your feet, tell me how you wear your bag. The bag has to fit in your body and has to respect even the movement of your body. If you are paraplegic, why you don't have to be? So this is another aspect that I want to connect in the respect of another culture.
No, that's amazing. And, you know, I have so much respect for, I think it takes courage to come out in the open and dare to be different.
Thanks for saying this. This means to have courage. Sometimes it's because it's an organization that is taking the courage. Other times are the brands that has to take the courage to talk, say, and respect. And this is the foundation of the Italian industry. If you look at most of the Italian groups and companies and brands and designers, they sell to international people, and they need to adapt to all the different countries. They need to respect all of them. So you can see the same collection has to change it. And the courage is to say, okay, this is my voice, this is my creative impact, but I'm using your words. I'm respecting your body. I'm using your colors. On top of it, I want to add you one part. A couple of months ago was been published one of my chapter about cross-cultural and color impact.
I know color is you've always written about
Yes.
color, and you've always talked about
And
color.
in that point, I analyzed with a group of experts in color science how in trends we change it to add some specific tones of color depending of the culture that is speaking out in a much more wider way. So if we have more Afro, Latino color people, that we have a different perception of color, we have more vibrant tone, even for moment they are considered formal. But look at the Asian, South Korean, they took more white, blue, lilac. In moment, they are completely different.
Yeah.
And we have so many others of this kind of timing. In my opinion, those colors can be absolutely the new words.
Using the color in place of words, basically red for warrior and purple for magic, for example. You want people to look at the color purple and imagine or understand that it means magic and it represents magic. Like they say green for calm, we say green for compassion, which is, you know, along the same lines in some ways.
And I like it to add this topic of the color because your program is related to the 7 color.
Yes.
And color, did you never know that color is the first element every consumer see when they walk in by a window? Could be digital window, could be physical window, and the color has a power, has a light.
Yeah.
I totally believe in it. And this is the reason when I'm wearing violet, this is a purple, blue, violet, and it's magic.
Yeah.
Magic is magnetic. Sometimes I don't have to talk because in some culture, they don't want me to talk so much like an Italian. There are too many words they don't understand. It's enough to wear, to have my color, say 2 words, and everything is the power of the hidden words. Tell me more about your 7 color.
Well, let's start with 7. 7 is a powerful number, and I say this over and over again. It is some people call it a magical number. It appears in every culture, every religion. People understand that 7 is whatever. I think it's good karma as well. But the power of 7 colors of the rainbow, 7 days of the week. I based the program on the 7 colors and the 7 chakras, because our body holds emotions. And then to be able to take that concept and express yourself without having to speak out and tell someone how you're feeling. Today, I feel like I want to remind myself to be empathetic. I know that we're here speaking out, and you know, sometimes you want to talk about things that you're not brave enough to speak about, but I think we have to remind ourselves that it's okay as long as you're respectful of everyone. And of course, my magic, I always need to feel like I'm magic because I want to put out that positive energy. I want people to feel good. I want to go somewhere and leave and have people feel good rather than me leaving a bad energy behind. So I always wear magic because it's a reminder for me to leave a conversation, leave a room positively. So you know, that was what it was based on, and I think if we do need the reminders through the days. I can have my alarm go off every now and then, but this is my go-to. It's become very much a part of my life, and we're looking to do some amazing collaborations in Italy with that. So I'm excited, and that will be our next podcast when we're ready to talk about it. Who I would really love to have in this chair is Paula, because I would love for her to talk about her new movement and her focus on domestic violence. I know that is a next big phase in the Italian fashion conversation. And I feel like everything I do is so aligned with you know, all of the work you're doing in Italy. And
let me add on top of it. Yes, for sure. Me as well. I would like to, you can invite in your podcast more people. They are leading this change makers, you called them, concept. We call change makers. For us, change makers are people that has a vision. They have the courage.
Yes.
So to have the courage to do something, and we have many. For us, an entrepreneur is a person who has a courage to do it.
They're warriors.
And this is the reason I like to have other person in the conversation. First of all, because I trust in the power of group, of the team,
Community.
of the community. This is the foundation. Without the community, you don't do nothing. Yes. Absolutely nothing. This is the mandatory aspect. Secondly, because also we talk about, when we talk about diversity, we talk about people that want to speak out because they are the younger aspect of a generation, and they have to fight with the conservatories, which is another aspect. And then we have the women as entrepreneurs, which is another touching point. Women entrepreneurs, in my opinion, is another open aspect. Not only in the fact that we have to count how many people are around the table. This is not a number point. The point is to build a vision, to be a change maker with a vision to be free. And this is not only in Italy, in Europe, and in the US, in Asia, in South Asia. And this is my next step, when I want to bring to you, connecting this world. This is always, when I'm in Asia, and I always say, but you don't know what's happened there. You don't know what's happened there. I'm trying to connect and make people smiling and avoiding what is written around. So let me say that we have a long program. We have a long
we have a good journey.
A good journey. Thank you very much.
You know, I love that you work with entrepreneurs, because I think mental well-being and what we talk about is so prevalent in the world of entrepreneurs. I'm an entrepreneur, and I always talk about the power of words being the movement of mental well-being, being the movement of emotions, and how can we stay positive through those ups and downs and curves and deep dark holes. And working with entrepreneurs, imagine the group of entrepreneurs you're working with, each of them get to express themselves. You do a 2-day conference or a 3-day conference, and getting everyone in the room to understand that they can express themselves through the power of 7, but they can also understand the emotions of others. Somebody will understand that I want to speak about empathy and might not normally find an excuse to talk to me about my emotions, but recognizing my expression of my emotion is what will bring them to have a conversation with me. Maybe, sometimes it takes time, but it will eventually happen.
Definitely, definitely.
Well, I just want to say, Orietta, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for sharing the power of your words, the work you do for bringing the power of words to Italy and giving us a platform, giving us the voice. We have a lot of work to be done together, and I can't wait to go on this journey with you.
Thank you, Deborah. Thank you very much. With my deepest heart, can I say this? Because you open a conversation between many different people that now can speak out. Thank you very much.
Thank you.